Do you feel trapped in your past? Therapists always wanted me to talk about my past. They never could let go of it. They always asked me questions about my mother. And I always wondered, how would talking about over 50 years ago help me in my present day with my current situations? Well, the answer was it didn't. It just kept me ruminating over my past traumas. And maybe you feel like this too, that you're just ruminating over your past traumas, that you're stuck in the past, that you're growing old and life is escaping you, that nothing is ever changing. It hurts to change. Remember this, growth comes through pain. Through childbirth, the agonizing pain of giving birth naturally, I produced 2 beautiful boys. Remember this, in order for a chick to be born, an egg has to break. That's what we're going to talk about today. The power to get your life back in your hands by letting go of the past. And we're going to start that right now. Hi, my name is Sandra Wyllie, and this is my mental health channel. Here I talk about my own past struggles having borderline personality disorder, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I talk about anxiety and depression. I talk about narcissism and my abusive narcissistic mother. I talk about schizophrenia, and I wrote a childhood memoir, Life with My Schizophrenic Father, where I also talk about my autistic son and all the struggles I had with him when he was hospitalized from getting pneumococcal meningitis. I talk about my therapies and how I was sexually exploited by therapists and SA'd by them, having sexual relations with them, and how I went down a rabbit hole of therapy that ended me up into an alcoholic. But I only come on as a former patient of almost 20 years. I am not a licensed therapist. I do not hold a degree in psychology, so I cannot diagnose you. And all I ask in turn of you is your kindness, respect, and honesty in the comments. Now, we are all products of our past. This is true. But we don't have to stay stuck in those old familiar patterns. As little children, we were sponges. We absorbed everything that, this is how we learned. How did we learn? By our parents, our caretakers, the people that raised us. Okay, those were our first teachers. That is what we emulated. And we absorbed everything they did like sponges. So I grew up in a hell house where my mother was constantly beating and scratching and clawing and making, she abused my father, left like bleeding scars on him, left bleeding scars on me, threw things at me, swearing, belittling, and my father left her when I was a little baby, and I was stuck with her alone. I was an only child, so this is how I was raised. So of course it has a major impact on my life, and of course that's why I developed borderline personality disorder, because of the trauma that I had. But what am I going to do? Am I going to just let that rule the rest of my life going forward? Am I going to say, well, it's too late to change, I'm too old to change, I can't break free of those old patterns that are ingrained on me? You have to take accountability of your past, but you also have to prepare for the future. And you need to do both. If you just focus on one without the other, you're going to fail. So I do have to take accountability for the past. I have to say, yes, I do have some regrets, having sex with my therapist for 2 years. I did make some horrible, horrible choices based on the person I was back then, which was a very vulnerable patient. I lost both my parents back to back when I was 38 years old. I had no family. I was an only child. My friends weren't there for me friends. And so I have to take accountability for my actions, what I did to put myself in my place. I just can't blame my parents. I can't blame my circumstances. I can't blame, oh, life is unfair. You know, I have to take accountability for the choices that I made. But I also have to take, prepare myself for a better future. What can I do now, right here, right today, as I'm sitting facing you in this video? The power is in my hands. The power is in your hands to take back your life. I'm doing everything that I can now to create, to write about all my experiences and publish them in all these books, to do these videos, to share with you my wisdom from all the pain, what I've learned. And I have changed. I told you I was never going to do another live because I was, really humiliated. I walked off the live. I have it. You can see it. I just, because of a troll, was really upsetting me. And this is what my past pattern I've always repeated. Whenever a job upset me, I'd walk off the job. Whenever a relationship upset me, I'd leave the relationship. Whenever something upset me, I would stop doing. I would just quit. I would up and quit, even if I loved something, like I love doing my videos. Because of that troll, in the past, I would just quit and say, I'm never going to do that again. I was humiliated. I was shamed. I was lied to. I was disgraced on air. When the camera was rolling, I was disgraced on air. And I felt so ashamed and so embarrassed that I said, I'm never going to put myself in that position again. Now, this is how I changed and didn't repeat the past patterns. I said to myself, am I going to let that experience ruin my channel, ruin my chances to connect with you, my subscriber? I want a deep, meaningful relationship with you. And am I going to let that troll come on, intimidate me, shame me into never connecting in real time with you, my friend? So I thought about that. Now, in the past, that's exactly what I would have done. I would have felt shamed, embarrassed. After all, the troll said I was selling him drugs. He said I'm a drug pusher. And he's saying this live in front of everyone in real time. And I walked off. I got so upset. I just up and I left, And the camera was still rolling. And people saying, hey, you're still recording. It was a total disgrace and embarrassment. Now, the old me would have just said, I'm never putting myself up against that again, But the new me said, you know what? I'm not going to give that troll, that person, the power to stop me from doing what I'm passionate about. I want to come on and I want to make deep, meaningful connections with you, my subscriber. And I can't let something like that, and you can do the same thing. Take the power back. The power is in your hands. You can't let what happened in the past stop you from making a future, for preparing yourself for a future. And I know my future is right here with you on YouTube. And how am I going to deepen that future? Not just by doing these, pre-recorded videos, but by coming on and being open with you, being vulnerable with you. And that is what a live is all about. Live is having no script, being spontaneous, being open in the moment, being present, in the moment with you, my subscriber. So I decided to take back the power and not let that stop me. Now, it wasn't easy. I was very nervous. I was very worried. But I couldn't, keep repeating my past mistakes. My past mistakes is to, you know, stay stuck. Let something like a person or an outside circumstance stop me from proceeding forward. I would always do that. I would always let other people and circumstances drag me down and prevent me from going forward. So this is the first time that I took the reins back in my hands and I said, no, the power is in my hands. I'm not going to let anyone stop me. Okay? I'm going to, and it wasn't easy because, you know, any growth, like I said, there's pain and growth. You know what they say, growing pains? That is very true. When you are growing, when you are changing, it's hard. It's gonna go, like I said, an egg has to break for a baby chick to be born. All right? So out of that brokenness, out of that broken egg comes life. And just think of it that way yourself. Out of my brokenness will come rebirth. Like the phoenix bird, I will rise above the ashes. And I will continue to do my lives as often as I want to. And not let anything or anybody stop me. And the same with my son, my invalid son, who's severely handicapped, who was brutally beaten by a staff member. That has really shaken me up. It's caused me to drink much heavier, and it's really led me to have severe anxiety, insomnia, severe depression, panic attacks. And I'm trying to take that experience and trying to find some light or some goodness from it. And you could say, but how in the hell can you find goodness? And your son was left with all these horrible bruises in the hospital. And how can you find goodness from that? Well, as a result, I'm spending more time with my son because he was taken out of that program that beat him up. And now he's not going to any program right now. So I see my son, my handicapped son, right here. I see him 4 times. Oops. I see him 4 times a week. There he is. See, that's me and him. I get to see him now more often. I get to see him 4 times a week because he was taken out of the program. He was taken out of that program because we can't trust that place. So if I look at it, you know, in that way, that I have more time now, 4 times a week, to spend with him, to give him extra care, to give him extra love, to give him extra nurturing, because of the brutality that he did face, I can turn the situation a little bit around and see that, you know, put it to my advantage. I have more time with him. It's still very difficult, and I still have a very hard time trusting. And that's not going to go away overnight. I've been burnt over and over again, so I do not trust. I'm not saying that it's easy, but I've got to have a little trust in the higher powers, you know, that there is some goodness on this, you know, planet. And if there is no goodness in this planet, then let me be the good person. Let me be the light. Let me be the light that shines. I can't change anyone else. No one else out there can I change or fix. But I can change myself. I can change the way I look at things, all right? I can change the way that I respond to things. I have that power, you know. The power is in my hands. How I respond to the situation. How I make the best of that bad situation. Like with my husband now, he has been out of work for many months. And I get to spend more time with him. Same thing like with my son who was brutally beaten. He's no longer in a day program, so he's home all day. So I spend 4 days out of the week with him. So I get to spend more time with the people I love because of the outside circumstances. Instead of like making myself sink deeper and deeper and deeper into that hole, I look for the light. I look for, you know, how I can be the light, shine that light on the people I love and be there for them. I hope this video is helpful for you. If you're interested in any of these books here, this is a poetry book, Paris Sleepers. I did go to Paris in 2022 for a few days. And I've just written like tons and like thousands and thousands of poems. I've written about all my psychologists and, you know, what happened, the graphic details, and also about my son, what he went through in getting his illness. And the link to those are down below in the description. If you'd like to help and support my channel, you can always buy me a cup of coffee. The link to that is down below in the description as well. I'd love to hear from you. If you want to write me, my email address is down below in the description. It's Leanne, LEEANN827@hotmail.com. And I will always answer all comments and emails. And if you are new to my channel, welcome, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. That way you'll be notified each and every time a video of mine comes out. You'll be notified when I do a live. You can be there and you can talk to me one-on-one. Give it a thumbs up, like it, share it. Please share it. You don't have to ask permission with your friends, your family, on your social media platforms. And until next time, you have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.